Oh lordy.
Disney. Look, I did a report on this, but Bob Chapek's gone. We've got Iger back. I know there's a whole bunch of people saying this is great. It's not great at all. Bob Iger set up all of the things that Bob Chapek is like being lambasted for. Bob Chapek's no better, just as an FYI, but he's the fall guy, and now Iger's coming back to save the day, but he's not going to save the day. It's still going to be shit. Tom, what do you think of this? What do you think? Give me your thoughts, mate.
Lord Almighty, I mean, this is some Game of Thrones level shit.
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
Like,
I love that.
It is.
Wait, stop. I thought House of Dragons stopped. Shit. I thought we were done with season 1. This is the spin-off show.
House of Mouses. I mean, it is insane. Like, not even a few months ago, he had the backing of the board. He had a 3-year renewal. But what I can see here, and it's getting tougher and tougher to ignore, as much as some people want to say I may be wearing a tinfoil hat, Bob Iger pulled a coup and a half on this motherfucker. Like, excuse my French here, but like, this was some coup de grace, or how do you say it, kind of stuff. Like, it was just like he come in and just, is that what it is? Coup d'etat? Yeah, like, yeah, it is just crazy how this worked out here, because the fact that they lost faith in him in this fleeting moment, I don't buy it. There's too many things stacking up here. You had Elon buying Twitter, you had the FTX thing happen, you had Trump announce he's coming back. I think all of those things weighing into some Chinese issues. I think the board panicked. I think some people made some threats.
The elections, the economy.
Exactly, all those things. And Bob is like,
stock prices.
You know, I'm the Bob, you know, even though this is the guy that got them where they're at. Let's not forget that he's been basically running the company de facto for the last 2 years prior to this 11 months that Bob Chapek finally got to run the company. And in this 11 months, he's run into nothing but resistance. Like, everybody hates him inside the company because he actually made the creatives answer to him instead of getting to do whatever the fuck they want, spending money willy-nilly and making shit that nobody wants to see. They didn't like that. But of course, he didn't really get a chance to do anything, because everything we're still seeing, even though these flops, because they will try to blame everything on Chapek, but the funny thing is none of this shit was greenlit under his tenure. Black Panther, all this stuff is under Bob Iger's tenure still. So nothing is really, you can really dump on Bob, other than he buckled when he probably shouldn't have when it came to the Florida bit. Because at that point, and then I love how people are trying to say that, oh, the woke's out the building. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What crack are you smoking? Because this was the only guy who was trying to take the company back to neutral.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys bombarded him so much that I wouldn't be surprised if it got to a point where there was an argument where, you know, well, Bob did this and Bob did this, and Chapek goes, you know what? I am sick and fucking tired of hearing about Bob. You guys want Bob so bad, then get Bob back. Goodbye. That could even have been something like that happened, because we know Bob has been manipulating crap from behind the scenes for the whole time. He's got tons and tons of people inside the company who are his loyalists. And the only thing that this may have a bright center to is that we got to remember that KK was removed from Star Wars and pushed over to her Blood and Bones thing by Iger, and Favreau and Filoni were inserted. Actually, Favreau and then Filoni, on KK's request, were inserted into taking over Star Wars. And then Chapek said, well, what are you doing with this crap over here? Get your butt over here and go to work. Not understanding that she was part of the problem, evidently. But what we also have going on now is that Marvel is taking a nosedive. The parks are not doing as well as they should be. There's all kinds of problems, and everybody's going to blame it all on Chapek. He is the scapegoat. He has become the fall guy. And now Bob Iger is coming in to, quote unquote, save the day. But I'm sure that they're being saved by a lot of outside interest money right now, as Paulie was pointed out. You know, there's a lot of political movements shaking going on right now, and I'm not going to try and get political, but when Trump made that announcement last week, that just guaranteed 2 more years of this shit, basically.
Well, so that you alluded to a lot of a lot of what's in here, basically. Financial Times was like, Walt Disney executives staged a revolt against ousted chief Bob Chapek. So apparently, senior Walt Disney executives led a rebellion against chief executive Bob Chapek in recent weeks, which resulted in his ousting and replacement with predecessor Bob Iger, according to people familiar with the matter. But could that be coordinated by Iger? Yeah. The covert campaign to overthrow Chapek, which began in the summer, so literally that, in summer, came after the outgoing chief executive lost the confidence of some members of his top team during a tumultuous 33 months at the helm of the media empire. Not through his own fault, through everything that was set up by Iger. So people saying, I got a message saying, "Oh, the king's returned." I'm like, you're insane. He's shit. A lot of people were approaching the board. Iger loyalists who felt marginalized, said one person with knowledge of the talks. Shares in Walt Disney obviously dropped. And by Monday afternoon, Iger had dismissed Kareem Daniel, a trusted, so this is when he took over, a trusted Chapek ally who ran the company's streaming strategy. So Disney executives began approaching the board, which is chaired by Susan Arnold, a few months ago to express concerns about Chapek's leadership. But if they had half the brains that they think they did, they would realize that this stuff had been established and set up by Iger. Christine McCarthy, chief financial officer, was among the executives who complained. 3 other people said Disney declined to comment. The board were clueless about what to do, one person added. The final straw was Disney's bruising earnings release on November 8th, during which Chapek reported the company's streaming business had lost $1.5 billion during the most recent quarter. $1.5 billion. 3 days later, Chapek announced job cuts, telling staff in an email, "We're going to have to make tough and uncomfortable decisions."
Now, here's something we heard on our show the other night from WDW Pro. Was that there was the basically some people, like, they gave him carte blanche, or not carte blanche, but they gave him the go ahead to do this cuts. But then when they found out what some of the cuts were going to be, some very important people stepped in, and that's kind of what set this whole thing in motion, I guess. Even though I guess some of this was starting, we did read and hear some stuff about how roughly half the board was starting to lose confidence in him coming into and before the recent quarterly call, and that, I guess, was another issue that was taken, was how he handled the call for some reason. I don't know.
What's interesting is that, people close to Chapek said he became aware of the moves against him some weeks ago, but was caught off guard by the speed of events. The abrupt dismissal will entitle Chapek to a significant payout. Under his old contract at the end of 2021, he was entitled to an estimated $54 million in cash and stock in the event of early termination. The company has not published the full details of his most recent contract. I mean, it's going to be more, I would imagine.
Probably.
Iger, 71, has agreed to stay on for 2 years to help steady the ship and choose another successor. Chapek was his successor. He chose him anyway.
Actually, I think the board chose Chapek, if I remember right. And that was the thing that we were discussing the other night. I don't know how accurate that is, because I figured like that would be one of Iger's like stipulations. He's like, I'll come back and do this, but I want to pick my successor this time.
Maybe. Well, it's funny. There's a Wells Fargo analyst here. This goes to show just how out of touch everyone actually is with the matter. Wells Fargo analyst is like, well, the announcement doesn't solve all of Disney's problems. We think investors will embrace it, as it puts perhaps the best leader in media at the helm with a mandate to shake things up. What? Shake the things up which you set in motion that is now...
Right.
I mean, Disney Plus was his baby. Disney Plus was Iger's baby. It's what he'd set up and established before he left. Right? He was trying to get that off the ground, and then he left. What is wrong with people? Why is people's short-term memory loss so bad that they're praising Iger coming back? He established a lot of this crap. I just don't get it.
A lot of the people in the industry just want him back. That's the thing.
Love this meme.
This is just the meme created itself, basically.
Brilliant. Why would Chapek do this? It's like, goodness me.
It writes
Goodness
itself,
me.
right? Like you
Yeah.
couldn't, yeah.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Like it you know, this is not going to be a success now for Disney. Unless they use this as an opportunity to now say, "Ah, that was all Chapek. We're not woke. We're going to scrap all of that stuff." You know, maybe that's what they're leaning towards. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean,
Indigenous gold.
I'm pretty much in the same mindset as Tom is on this. I mean, Iger kind of started this whole woke Disney garbage crap. You know, he completely took, you know, bought Lucasfilm from George Lucas and then conned him into thinking that he was going to make his movies that he wanted, and completely turned around and did something else, and pissed him off. And I just don't see anything changing with this. The only thing that changed was Disney stock went up like $10, you know, once he got announced, like the next day.
Yeah.
But with the state of the economy, with the garbage that they're putting out there, I mean, you could have freaking the Michael Jordan of CEOs at Disney. And during a pandemic, during inflation, during the way that the economy is going right now, and all the garbage that they're putting out there, it wouldn't have mattered who was in that position. It was
Yeah.
all going downhill. So yeah,
Perfect storm.
he's 100% the scapegoat here. They'll put the blame on him. Nothing will change until they actually change the content that they're putting out there, and start giving people what they actually want, and get off of this activist agenda pushing
Do
nonsense
you think
that
they
they
will
like to
though?
throw in there. Not with Iger in there. Absolutely not. It's going to be more the same, and it will probably even get probably worse.